cover thing was never fulfilling something that was from me, created from me. And so back again, late 2009, I started just writing and teaching myself to produce and started getting some TV tracks. My original band won the local rock station Battle of the Bands, so I got to open up for Cheap Trick and Styx at Midway Stadium. That was a big deal. Wow. The Tommy Lee thing was happening during that. I had a CD coming out, and all of a sudden people care about what you're doing because you're doing your thing.
Hey guys, my name is Jeff McMahon, and I play the piano for people. I've played on some big records, played on some big stages, and I've played with some big stars. Big or small, they're all the same. Taking someone with a dream, playing their song, and trying to get them further up the ladder. So that's what we'll do here. Have a conversation, maybe shine a light, and play some music. And I'll be on piano. This is McMahon on keys. Troy Castellano.
What's happening, Jeff?
It is hard to know where exactly to start this with you, friend, because we can't possibly talk about everything we've done.
Right, yeah. We have done quite a bit together in a short amount of time, too. Yeah.
I guess we have to start because everybody sees you here weekly with Instruments for Education.
Yeah,
so
thank you for that, by the way.
Well, thank you for what you're doing with it. I mean, you're a songwriter, you're a musician, you're a writer, you're a producer, you're all the things. But Instruments for Education, let's go ahead and get that out of the way because people know you as a part of that. So they get my spin on it every week. Tell us what Instruments for Education is, why you started it, what you do with it. What is it?
Instruments for Education is an organization that allows me to give instruments to schools, teachers, and students that might not otherwise have it in their budget to get instruments. And the big push for me was to introduce, I think we're losing the kids nowadays have so many ways to be entertained, like Xbox, Netflix, iPhones, iPads, all the games on that and stuff. And I thought, man, we need to reintroduce kids to instruments and get them into playing with friends like we do with a band. Like there's a whole nother world outside of that handheld device or that TV screen.
Right.
And I thought that's something that's missing in today's generations growing up. And, the cost of an instrument can be quite expensive. And I just wanted a way to give kids and teachers and schools an opportunity to get instruments for free. If we have them, we'll donate them.
Right.
So, yeah, that's mainly the reason is there's two, I guess, for me to give back and also to give opportunity to kids to learn to play without any cost to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that you talk about all the distractions, and I always wonder, I mean, there's no way to know. You can multi-track now on your phone. You can do all of these cool things, sing harmony with yourself. It's so much easier to explore all that with the technology. It's much easier than when I was a kid, when I was bouncing harmony tracks between cassette decks and it sounded like crap. But you're right, I didn't have the temptation of video games. I had 3 TV channels. A lot of those distractions were not there. So I would love to think that I would have had the self-discipline to do it just because I was bored.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would. So it's good that you get to do that. And that's one of the things that you've built up over time, people, connections, knowledge. I mean, because a lot of those instruments you fix, you repair a lot of stuff before, right?
Yeah, okay. Definitely. I do setups. I get them into I get the instruments playing as good as they can without significant repairs. So, and if I can't fix it, then we don't donate it. So,
right. Well, I know you do that. I know that the spirit with which you do that and the spirit with which you play with people, with other people, trying to create opportunities for other people. You're always trying to pull other people along.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily how we met, but I mean, I guess it kind of is.
In a roundabout way, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was working with Ashlyn Grace.
Yeah, that's right.
Who I had to go back and do the math. She was 21 when she was playing the round with you at the Maxwell House, which I think is where we met.
Was it Commodore? The Commodore at the Holiday Inn. They're both hotels, so I could see how it could be confusing.
Yeah, it may have been.
Maybe that was the second one, but
I think we met at the Commodore. I think we met at the Maxwell House. And the Commodore is where you and I were talking behind the.
That's right.
When you went to parking, and I was like, I think I'm listening to your music. It feels kind of vibey, kind of the way I'm vibey. If you want me to come play on something,
yeah, I remember.
Call me, because you're friends with Ashlyn, which means you're friends with me, because Ashlyn's going to insist on it, which is great.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot of stuff with Ashlyn before that when she was in high school. Because she didn't need to be out doing rounds by herself.
Yeah, I remember that in the parking lot. You asking me like, well, what are you looking to do? What's your goal here? And we had a long conversation about it. Yeah. And as usual, it's kind of my ideas are all over the board, but it's hard for me to focus. But yeah, I'm really grateful for that time when we met, and we've been doing a lot of things ever since. Yeah. But
yeah. Well, you've always had your own music. I kind of want to start with that initially, just because that's what you've got happening right now. We've been trying to schedule this interview.
Yeah.
And you've been in and out of your home state of Minnesota.
Yep.
Which I guess our storytelling is going to kind of circle around.
We're both working musicians, and we're like, it's hard to schedule things. But
you're doing stuff in Minnesota off of Hell We Raised, I guess, the song Hell We Raised, which kind of lit stuff up for you. So what's going on with that? Why have you not been available at my beck and call?
Just because of that. And it's also Instruments for Education. And, there's a lot of life things going on too. Right. But yeah, spending time up in Minnesota with my mom, who's making transition here into a new home, which we're going to be working on this next month. But
musically... Yeah. This song is, you've been up there gigging like you haven't been before. Yeah. You've shot the video up there. Yeah. Talk about musically, why are people looking for Troy Castellano all of a sudden up in Minnesota?
Well, I think, so I put the song called Hell We Raised, put that out at the beginning of the year, and I teased the song with some video I had taken of my own old Main Street.
Right.
And that video actually was, I was up there visiting my mom, and I drove through town and I videotaped it so when I could come back to Tennessee, I could look at that. And as I was looking at it, that was the first thought that came to mind, was like, oh man, the hell we raised in that town. And of course, like any other small town, the bypass was made. The bypass was made, and everybody skirts around Main Street now.
Right.
So, and I was very nostalgic for that time period. This was before computers and the digital age we live in. And so it was like, looking back, I decided to kind of put that into words, what we did. Pardon me. And it just came out in a song that really connected not only with people that grew up in that area, but people that grew up in that time period, where we were so bored. What were you doing? Getting into trouble,
Right.
So, and then that song just lit up a bunch of people. And I guess not lit up, but I connected with a bunch of people up there, and they started spreading the song and my posts on Facebook, and it went kind of viral in a way that I'd never experienced. And it also made me realize that I got more things to say, that I wanted to do some solo writing. So that was a solo write. Self-produced it. I self-produced basically the video as well.
Right.
And the video has a combination. The idea was me being getting in my truck in Tennessee and then driving by my haunts in Minnesota and then coming back and parking in my driveway in Tennessee. So the video kind of looks like one shot of all this stuff with a couple of little vignettes of 1979 kid's life.
Right.
Smoking cigarettes, playing records, drinking beer, all those things. The records was playing the records was good, but maybe not all the drinking and smoking.
Well, and when you talk about it going viral, I think what you're talking about is that some of the people that you're still friends with up there recognize that you're actually talking about them or people they know, because they know that song for you is pretty autobiographical. Yeah,
and other people that I didn't know were doing those things came out to me and said, man, that was my life. We were doing that same thing, even though they might have been in a different town.
Right.
It was still the same kind of thing,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead into that's all building towards a full project.
Yeah, actually I've got a EP that's coming out.
Okay.
And I'm releasing the singles. So this is what I understand how you do it now is you release all the songs on singles, or maybe 3 out of that, and then you finish the EP by putting the rest out as another release.
Right.
So that's what I've been doing. So I've got 3 singles out so far. You played on one. The last single was called In My Jeans.
Right.
Yep. We need there's a lyric in there about Jerry Lee Lewis, and it's like he played some of that on there.
Yeah, we need a little piano guy.
Matter of fact, I have got that for you right here.
Oh, you printed physicals?
Yes, yep.
Because everybody print physical CDs anymore.
Yep,
so.
There's nothing in there. It's just a sleeve, but
good.
No, there's a CD in there. And I ended up printing those because playing these shows up in Minnesota, people started to ask about them. And I mean, before I came up there, you can have CDs? I'm like, yeah, you bet. So
lots of space for your autograph.
Right? Yeah.
That's good.
I never thought about that.
That's good.
Yep.
That's what I'm here for. I got you.
And do you know where I'm standing there?
I don't.
I don't either. It's Photoshop.
Is it?
Yeah. Actually, that's my silhouette standing
great.
on I think a rock at Lookout Mountain.
Yeah.
Chattanooga. But
no, it looks great.
Yeah. Thanks.
It looks great. Well, okay, so it's so easy to kind of look at the things you've done by the people that you've done them with. Because you just said that you wanted to do some solo writing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I know of the most, because we've always collaborated on things for other people.
Right, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about some of those collaborations. The first being before you ever got to Nashville, I believe. I think you did this before you came to Nashville. You were involved in a thing with the drummer for Mötley Crüe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tommy Lee's Methods of Mayhem, a 2010 record that he did.
Okay, so I was looking at a video of that's on your website, and it's all sorts of pieces and things. So why are you playing with the guy from Mötley Crüe? What did you do?
So just simply put, it was a flyer or an ad on the back of a Guitar Center flyer that said, Tommy Lee wants to make a record with the world. Go to this website, download the bass, drums, guitar, and vocals, and put it into your system, and then you play what you want to put on it. And if we like it, we might use it. You might make it on the record.
Okay.
So that went on for like a year, and we did that for 10 months, 12 songs. But every morning he would get on video and put a shout out, hey, we got these tracks in from different people, and we really like this one and that one. And I started hearing my name almost every morning with the different, I should say every song. And then the producer reached out to me and said, hey, man, all your stuff is coming through our screeners, and we really like it. I just want to touch base with you. What else do you do besides music? Because everybody knows that we usually have another job, so we can do music. And I said, I do web design. He goes, oh, hey, Tommy, this guy does web design. You want to talk to him? So Tommy got on the phone, and yep, I ended up doing a little web work for him. And that was in the middle of the process.
Okay.
But then
when is this happening?
was it happening? Like throughout 2010. I think the record came out at the end of the year. So basically he did that with 12 songs, 10 made it on the record. And there was about 20,000 submissions, and I think about 30 of us made it on there, and then I made it on to 3 songs and was credited for 3 songs on there for guitar work. So
and you played the entire track. And then because when I was looking at the video, it looked like they took pieces of lots of things.
Exactly. So, like, I played my part for the entire track,
right? And
then they took what they liked out of it, and just coincidentally, it was all the hook guitar in the choruses. So it was the main riff in the guitar.
Oh,
I mean, in the chorus, and it was guitar stuff. So, and some other little bits that were used in songs, like little lead bends that I was doing, or some kind of weird sounds, all guitar stuff. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. And then I was able. So I made a relationship with Tommy a little bit, and the producer's name was Scott Humphrey. He produced Rob Zombie's stuff. He was the mastermind behind all of that. And to backtrack, I did rock and roll before country, which kind of all mixed together for me anyway. But Scott said, "Do you want to come out to the studio?" When I was in LA one day, "Do you want to come out to the studio and check out the record?" I'm like, "Heck yeah." So we go to Tommy's house and go into his studio, and first track they pulled up, I go, that's my riff. Yeah, so that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, it would have to be.
And like I was a big Led Zeppelin fan, and John Bonham was my favorite drummer.
Right.
And Tommy Lee, as far as rock drummers go, he was second there. So he's the number 1 living drummer in my mind right now. So to be immortalized with him for the rest of my life is pretty amazing, or for forever, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, yeah,
that's cool. Well, and that's what we all know here in Nashville that so many people don't recognize. I mean, I remember one time when I was on tour with Tim McGraw, and somebody came up to me and they said, "So do you play other songs besides Tim McGraw songs?" And I'm thinking, no, I've never played any songs but Tim McGraw songs. That's the only songs I never played anything. I started with Tim McGraw songs. That's all I've ever played.
Okay.
All of us in Nashville recognize that we've all played rock stuff and blues stuff and country stuff and other stuff and jingles and choir programs, and we've all done all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the fact that you started with Tommy Lee, to me, isn't so much about it was rock versus country. It means you were already working at that level of professionalism with producers, with songwriters, with people that were working at a caliber that you needed to understand to work with some of the artists that are here in Nashville doing the same thing.
Yeah, and have the confidence to do it.
Yeah. You know, otherwise you're going into a recording studio and you vapor lock.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what to do because, the board is as big as the room, and I've never seen that before.
Yeah, and get intimidated by all that too. Yeah.
So that was before you moved to Nashville.
Yep.
Which means, you moved to Nashville a lot later than people would probably assume.
Yep, totally.
I came to Nashville in 91. So
yeah, you were really young then.
Yeah. So what happens at that stage of your career that makes you go, okay, Tommy Lee, that worked, I'm going to move to Nashville?
Well, there's a little bit more to it, but it's like, just the background on me is like I played in cover bands and rock bands around the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. I always wanted to do original music, so I'd put out a CD in '99 that I made on my own, and then another one in 2010. And I just realized the cover thing was never fulfilling something that was from me, created from me. And so back again, late 2009, I started just writing and teaching myself to produce, and started getting some TV tracks. My original band won the local rock station Battle of the Bands, so I got to open up for Cheap Trick and Styx at Midway Stadium. That was a big deal.
Wow.
The Tommy Lee thing was happening during that. I had a CD coming out, and all of a sudden people care about what you're doing because you're doing your thing. you know.
Right.
That was a big revelation late in life. Like, you know, that I wish I would have just chased that dream from my 20s, you know, instead of trying to be the cool band around the cities in the local bar. Do your thing and make that the cool thing,
right.
you know. And yeah, so all those things happened to me, you know, at 42, 43 years old. I'm like, okay, this is never going away. A attorney friend of mine said, Troy, you need to be in New York, Nashville, or L.A. And I've been to L.A. a bunch of times. I had 3 kids, well, I still have, and I'm not going to raise them there. And New York, same thing. And I came to Nashville, and I'm like, wow. And there's another thing that occurred during the 2000s to the time I came here was country music had changed. Like Keith Urban became more of what I do, because when I tried to rock, it was never really just metal, crazy rock.
Right.
I think 70s soft rock really sank in with me, along with some of the country like Glenn Campbell that my dad used to listen to, Roger Miller. But it's all a mix of that. But coming here to Nashville is where I think I really found myself. So during that 2012, I came here and took a workshop, songwriting workshop, and I went back home and I said, man, to my wife, if we could ever move there, I think that's where I need to be. You know, whether I succeed or not, I'm in a place where I can always have opportunity and just be making music in some form or matter. You know.
Well, and you get here, as you and I both know, you get here and you work with one person, which leads you to another thing and another thing and another thing. And not that you work with everybody, but that's how you kind of find who you want to work with.
It's such an amazing community. Yeah. Like, even when you got to, like in my case, you got to step back and step out for a little bit. I've had to in the last year or two. Yeah. And some COVID did that to a lot of people. But it's like, you know, you always can restart.
Right.
You can restart. The city's here and everybody's still working the music, and that's you don't have that opportunity in a lot of cities, you know. You've probably played with everybody in that small town, and there's nowhere to go there anymore.
Oh, sure.
You come here, there's different people arriving, there's different people leaving. There's always opportunity to make music, start something new.
Oh, yeah. I was off the road for 12 years and just went back.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always done shows, but I mean, I was on the road solid for 18 years, got off the road, started doing other things, working labels and doing stuff that we were doing together and all those things, and went back on the road after 12 years, and I'm building it again.
Did you think in the middle of that, oh, I'm never going to be able to get back into the fold? I'm not sure. I did think that, but it was not because of, you know, how old I was or being out of it. It was because some things went on in that interim that there was a lot of rumors that were generated that made things challenging for me that I had to kind of outgrow. Mm-hmm. And so people would then kind of, those rumors would die, things that I had nothing to do with, but people weren't sure. Yeah.
And then everybody kind of realized, oh, he was never a part of that to begin with. And it's like, thanks. I carried that around for a while.
And then the rumors that go around to all of that stuff and all the hearsay. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes you just got to let it be and just come back and do your own thing and move past all of
right. That. Well, and, you know, and I'm now on the road with Chris Cagle, who was retired for 7 years. But when he called me, we had known each other long before. You know, back when he was touring and I was on the road with, you know, other folks doing other things. And, but we still had crossed paths. So we had an introduction that was not a part of, you know.
And there's another person who was successful in the business, stepped back and had to take a reset himself. And I'm sure all that goes through his mind. Does anybody care Does anybody care anymore? Am I worthy of it? Should I do this again? But
we go back out on the road and it's like, holy mackerel, everybody still remembers the songs.
Yeah.
And they're screaming about the new songs, and we're going back to places, and we just played Faster Horses up in Michigan, which is huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, and people are beating down the door now. You know, it's just like, let's go, man.
And the same for you. It's like, I missed this. You're up there playing, and I mean, any of us true artists and creators, we might say we miss it and all that, but I mean that we don't miss it, and we come back, and it's like it's fulfilling again.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. And I just and you do. I just like collaborating, and I know that we're going to talk about a lot of the folks that you've collaborated with. You've talked about it, but far be it for me to break the streak. Let's go ahead and show them your clip from Instruments for Education.
Okay, yeah.
And then we'll come back and talk about some of the people that you've collaborated with.
And this is Instruments for Education is a fulfilling part of music for me as well.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here it is. Instruments for Education.
Hey, Troy Castellano here from Instruments for Education. We're at one of our first stops here today on a Friday. We're delivering some tambourines and some shakers for an elementary school classroom. We're at Liberty Elementary School.
Hey guys, I'm Troy Castellano. We started Instruments for Education as a way to put instruments into the hands of kids. Sometimes we donate directly to students, sometimes to teachers, and sometimes to full classrooms in their schools. We're based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we service the Middle Tennessee area. Since we started, we've reached over 100 schools and donated over 500 instruments. If you'd like to make a request for an instrument, or you have an instrument to donate, or would like to contribute financially, visit our website at instrumentsforeducation.org. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for helping keep music alive.
Okay, so I want to talk about some of these people that we have collaborated with. We can't hit them all.
Yeah.
I know we won't hit them all, but you've created a lot of opportunities for people. You've worked with a lot of people that have gone on to do other things. So I'll just hit a few of them, and you can kind of give me your thoughts on some of them. I know her. I performed with her. Did not know this. I learned yesterday that Leah Marlene, who just recently finished third on American Idol, who did the Bluebird Cafe with us.
Yep.
You were the first person to co-write a song with her in Nashville.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's right.
So how do you know her? What is that story?
Well, so her dad was a guitar player is a guitar player in the band Honeymoon Suite.
Right.
Big Canadian rock band. And I was writing at a publishing house one day, and then another friend of mine said, "Hey, this is Derry Grahan," and I'm like, "I know who you are. You play for Honeymoon Suite."
Yeah.
And so we hit it off there, and he said that he had brought his daughter to Nashville, and she'd like to do some writing, but she hasn't done it yet.
Okay.
So we booked a write, and we got together, and we wrote a song called Downtime.
Right.
And it went on her first CD called Arrow.
Right.
So, yeah. And then, of course, it's like I get an opportunity to play the Bluebird. I'm like, why not invite her?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that was the one with John Schneider, I believe, too.
It was, yeah.
Which was the connection through you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I had done some shows with John.
Yeah.
So we pulled him in on that. So
that's so Nashville right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know who you're going to run into and how that connects to another person.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so you pulled her in to do the Bluebird. Now, actually, you probably didn't even realize this. I mean, I guess you did, but it was never a goal of mine. It was never on my bucket list to do, but I did. You brought me in on my first Bluebird.
Yep. And
as a songwriter, but that wasn't the goal. we were working with another friend of ours, Ava.
Yeah.
And that became my first Bluebird Cafe.
Yeah,
but you've been working with Ava Page.
That was Ava Page, and I invited her to play the Bluebird, but she was going through a short battle with cancer that she overcome, and at that time she wasn't feeling good to come and do the Bluebird.
Right.
And then that's when I think I reached out to you. Or were you accompanying us that night?
That was with Ashlyn Grace.
That's right. Okay, yep.
Who, that may have been her, I don't know if that was her first.
I think that was her first, too.
Might have been her first Bluebird. Yeah. And we knew that, I want to say Joe West was on that one with us.
Yep,
I'm not
Joe.
sure.
Yep. One of my first friends here in Nashville.
But yeah, the story was I was in your back pocket because you knew that I would not get my feelings hurt because the goal was for me not to perform.
Wasn't it?
I was just going to accompany everybody.
Yeah.
But we were hoping that Ava would be able to do that one, which,
that's
cut to the end. Ava's doing great. Ava's singing her tail off, writing her tail off, has done it since.
Yeah.
But on that particular day, we were not sure if she'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
So that was my first opportunity to do the Bluebird. So thank you.
You're welcome. And that it still kind of blows my mind that people have been in this town in the business in some form or way, whether you're a musician or a songwriter, that when they say, I've never played there, I'm like, well, what? We got to change that, because, somebody gave me that opportunity. And so when I get in a position where there's something like that I can pass down to somebody else who deserves it, that's what I try to do.
Right. Well, okay. So with that, I was poking around on some of the people that you have done that with. And I've got this, so you can tell me what this story is. Okay. Who is this young lady? Hit play and tell us what that's
Maddie
about.
Crüe.
What's up, Troy? I hope you are having a fun interview with Jeff right now. I just wanted to let you know how much of a blessing you are to me as a friend and a peer. Thank you for all the opportunities you've given me along the way. You got me into the Bluebird for the first time. That and other things we do will always hold a special place in my heart. And I can't wait to see what's next. Y'all go check out Troy Castellano. Hit him up to produce a track, write a song, because he is awesome. Love you, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Maddie and Jeff, for getting that. Yeah.
So you brought her into the Bluebird.
Yeah.
But you weren't there.
I was so hoping we could do that together.
Yeah.
And not to get in the COVID mess again, but it was like you had to have a proof of, you had to either have proof of vaccination or a negative test.
Yeah.
And usually the negative test, you go to Walgreens or something and get it. You'll get it back within 24 hours. Well, that week it took like 4 days. So I literally got it on Sunday. Our show was on Wednesday. I'm, biting my nails all the way up till Wednesday. Literally pulled in the parking lot, hoping this email would come in.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it didn't come in. The Bluebird, due to their rules, they couldn't let me in that night. But, thankfully, you guys were there, able to cover it. And I think I had somebody on standby. Was it Justin Love?
Justin was there.
Yeah.
Justin was there.
Yeah, I think he was there as a guest maybe, or was going to be. I forget because he's all become a blur. I've done it a few times. But so thankful that you guys were able to carry that show, even though I had to leave with my head hanging low.
Well,
but
we hated it. But I tell you, she never will forget that you paved that way for her, and that was that night. It was her birthday weekend. They sang Happy Birthday to her that night. They sang Happy Birthday to her that night.
And how amazing is that? The whole room singing to you as you're the artist playing there, That's all part of, like, if I can give back, I will try to give back, Somebody gave me that opportunity to play the Bluebird. Somebody gave me the opportunity to play the listening room.
Who gave you? I mean, you're so insistent about, I want to do this for them because somebody did it for me. So what is that?
The Bluebird was Brian DeVoe. He's in a band called 9 Days. They had a big hit with a song called Absolutely, otherwise known as Story of a Girl.
Okay.
This is a story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. So he gave me the opportunity. And then I think I brought him to the listening room and then into my first round at the Bluebird as well.
Okay.
And that happened actually 4 times in about 4 months that people invited me to the Bluebird. And then so after that, I got my own round there.
Okay.
And then I started to give back, as I say.
Right.
I'll usually in that room try to bring 2 hit writers or a hit writer that has songs people will know so they get the experience.
Right.
And then an up-and-comer and then myself. So, yeah. I think that's what you have to do when people give you that opportunity is like, you know, when you get that chance.
Sure.
Pay it backwards, I guess, not forward, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess.
You know?
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's why ultimately we started doing this, which was, I mean, we'll end up having conversations with people that have done things and all that, but I like trying to shine a light on some folks that are
you for sure
that are trying to get started and you know, help them learn something. You know, so they don't have to step in the potholes that we've already stepped in.
And speaking of podcasts, too, it's like you stepped up and helped me many times with my Project 52, which were interviews and live performances.
Oh, yeah.
We did some really cool performances. I'm really fond of that. And that was you giving back to me in some way, I guess. That's how I felt. It's like, hey, will you come over and accompany me on this song? Or you brought AJ in there on fiddle. Those are some of my favorite performances from that.
We had, I had not even, you did Project 52, which was every week you doing a song that you've collaborated with somebody on, writer or performed or whatever. So, in fact, one of the songs we did for that, I didn't do the song. Somebody else performed this one, but I wanted to mention it just because it is so far from, you know, Matty True and Tommy Lee. You did Grateful.
Oh, yeah.
Which was Chris Golden.
Yep, Chris Golden.
Who's the son of William Lee Golden of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah.
You had a lot of success with that song.
Yeah, I wrote that with Reed Waddle and Bill DeLuigi. We wrote that Thanksgiving Day Eve, and we wanted to write something about being grateful because Thanksgiving was coming up. And then we found out that Chris Golden had cut that song. There's really actually a kind of a cool story that goes with that. Chris Stapleton's producer, Dave Cobb, was producing the Oak Ridge Boys gospel record at that time, and so that song was on a hold with the Oak Ridge Boys. And then when it wasn't recorded for the record, Dave Cobb told Chris, hey, this is a great song. You should record it. So I love that story because I'm a big Chris Stapleton fan, and Dave Cobb produces all that stuff. And then, Chris went on to have an inspirational country #1 with that song.
Oh, wow.
And the way we heard about it was my co-writer, Bill DeLuigi, sent me a video of Chris on Devin O'Day's show on WSM, and he was playing our song. So we're like, oh, I guess Chris is going to record this. Well, he had already recorded it. Yeah. So, but that was pretty amazing too.
Yeah, I actually heard him perform that on Jimmy Bone and Friends.
Was it? Oh, did he play it there?
I think he did.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you recently had the Goldens, or the Goldens were on there again, I believe. But
yeah.
I
you were talking about Project 52 and all the different folks that you've collaborated with on that. God, we could do this forever.
Yeah,
you've done so many things with so many different people.
And that was a way to give back too, because these co-writers and artists that I was writing with, like, here's some content for you. Here's a little interview like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And actually, here's a live, no auto-tune, no overdub performance of the song we wrote. That was my favorite part of that.
Well, and that's what we're going to have to to explain what we did here, because that's what we're doing here is the just piano vocals of one of your songs. You were talking about, passing on those experiences, Matty True's first Bluebird and all the things. Who is this?
AJ.
Yeah, you'll have to hit play on that one.
Let me go back.
Hey Troy, it's AJ. Just wanted to say hello and have fun on your podcast today, and wanted to thank you for always being such an awesome guy. You were so great about pulling in me when I was brand new to town and getting me on projects and working on your music and just showing what Nashville is supposed to be all about. So you are such an inspiration. I love your music. I love all that you do, and I have had so much fun working with you.
Oh, man.
So tell Jeff I say hi too. Bye.
That's so cool. I miss AJ. She was such a tasteful player too.
Her second day in town, she was in your studio.
Yeah. And you've done that to a few people too as well, brought them over there, and you're always giving back whether you know it or not, Well, that's
how it happens, right?
This is a community. It's like no other. Because in your smaller cities or wherever you grew up, you kind of grow up there and you're competitive with everybody, Yeah. Here it's like you're all just trying to achieve something.
Right.
Yeah.
You were talking about the acoustic arrangements. Each week when we're trying to do one of those, a reflection of one of your songs that I'm the piano guy, so it's a piano vocal only. I want to play what we did together. And then when we'll come back, you can talk about the song, why we did that. What's the name of the song?
It's called Who You're Trying to Find.
And you wrote it with?
I wrote it by myself.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking I was writing about other people in this town that have kind of, dropped the ball, or they're too busy chasing dreams to get back to you. Right. And I think as I look back, I was probably writing about myself.
Yeah.
Because I'd done that to people as well.
Well, let's share that. Give everybody a taste of that.
All right.
And when we come back, you can tell me why we did that.
All right.
So here we go. Troy Castellano.
Do you ever think about everyone you're leaving out as you're blazing your way through life? Won't return a simple call, you're always dropping the ball in a hurry to be someone loved by everyone. It's so easy when all you're doing is dreaming to lose sight of who you are when you reach for the stars. Don't you know that even when those stars are gleaming, they still fall from the sky? So keep that in mind while you're getting lost in who you're trying to find. The farther that you drift away, the harder that it is to stay in touch with all the ties you've made through your life. Quickly you slip away before you know you're old and gray and you're lonely, needing someone, missed by no one. It's so easy when all you're doing is dreaming to lose sight of who you are when you reach for the stars. Don't you know that even when those stars are gleaming, they still fall from the sky? So keep that in mind while you're getting lost in who you're trying to find, who you're trying to find. And like U2 song I heard before. I hope that you find what you're looking for. It's so easy when all you're doing is dreaming to lose sight of who you are when you're reaching for those stars. Don't you know that even when those stars are gleaming, they still fall from the sky? So keep that in mind while you're looking for, yeah, you're looking for who you're trying to find. Oh, who you're trying to find.
So that is who you're trying to find. Piano only.
Yeah.
So why, you've got a lot of songs. I've played a lot of your songs. Why did we do that song for this?
You know, that song can stand on its own with just piano vocal. And it has the way that I composed it, too, had this kind of Beatlesque kind of piano thing on there with the eighth notes, you know. And I figured that would be a great one. It was a single. And it'd be a great one that we could do where I just sing and you play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was fun. And it was fun to kind of drive. I mean, I always drive when we do Quitter.
Yeah.
Which everybody needs to go find Quitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun to do something that wasn't Quitter, just piano, and just let you do your kind of thing. So, so you've got Hell We Race, which I know that's not your current single, but you've got the new video.
Yeah.
All of that's happening. In My Jeans is a single. You're going to have another single?
I'm going to do one more single, and then the last song of the EP will be an exclusive from my website.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, we're always trying to drive people to your own content instead of, you know, all of these social places. But, yeah, that's kind of the plan. And I'm one of these guys, like, I'm an old dog learning new tricks. So it's like, always trying to figure out the best way to do this. And you advise a lot, which is good, too, about releases and things like that. But yeah, so the EP, the fourth single will be coming out later in August. I haven't set a release date. And, and you know, depending on when this comes out, you can find out more about it on my website and stuff. But there'll be an exclusive.
So where's the website? Where's your Instagram? Tell everybody how to follow you so they know when it comes out.
All right, so you can find me on TroyCastellano.com, Instagram.com/Troy Castellano, Facebook.com/Troy Castellano Music. Oh, YouTube.com/Troy Castellano. I'm fortunate to have a unique name.
Yeah. That
if you search my name, you're going to probably find all that stuff anyway.
Right.
You know, that is kind of a blessing because it's not so hard to find if it was a more common name, you know.
So if you are who they're trying to find.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right? Yep.
All right. Well, everybody's going to be paying attention. We'll keep the light on it. So certainly, you know, I want to keep the light on In My Jeans because I got to play on it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I love that song too. It's a great blues rock song about my family tree.
Yeah. And we'll make some more music with some more people.
Yes,
and
we
some
will.
more friends.
Yep.
So thanks for doing this.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jeff. I really
appreciate you, bud.
All right. Thanks for those little videos too. That was awesome from AJ and Maddie.
Oh, thanks to them.
That's really cool. I miss AJ. Need to get her back and play some fiddle.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
All right.
Next time.
Okay. Peace.
And that is it for this episode with Troy Castellano. For every song that we mentioned, there's something else he's done with some other talent that we didn't even talk about. So check out his socials, check out his website, check out Project 52 on YouTube, and you'll find a lot to enjoy. And keep your eyes and ears open for the release of his new project. I want to thank Randy Allen, as always, for great video work on Who You're Trying to Find. Tommy Leland for putting music together for that, and Jonathan Warren for helping us capture that interview. Also, Turk McNamara from Turk's Lounge and McNamara's Irish Pub for leaving the door open for us and for helping keep Nashville how it used to be. If you've got thoughts or questions for us, shoot us an email at jeff@mcmahonkeys.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. Also, subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And until next time, this is McMahon on Keys.